Welcome to All Classic Car. This collection of photographs features classic Japanese cars of the 1960s and 1970s, plus a few later future classic contenders about which I welcome your comments. Will these Japanese cars ever be viewed as classic cars, or are they classic cars already? Okay, well, beginning this collection of classic Japanese car photographs, we have XPP48F, which is a 1967 Honda S800 Roadster. Here's a rear view of the same S800, and alongside a very unusual Honda Z600, a slightly modified example. And here is the first of several Datsun 240Zs to feature in this photo collection, this car from 1972. To Portugal, and a photograph taken through a fence of, I believe, a mid-1970s Mitsubishi Lancer. KBJ276N, that's a Toyota Crown Coupe. Here's an interior view of the same Crown Coupe, automatic gearbox, plenty of vinyl and black plastic, and a rear view of the same car. This is the only one I've ever seen at a normal classic car show, and this was a few years ago. Now, a Toyota Corona, circa 1967 or 68. And this is a Daihatsu Delta light truck, again over in Portugal. A car I remember very well from the 1970s, the Datsun 100A Cherry. At the Pageant of Power a few years ago was this Mazda RX-7, a rotary engined car. And a pair of Honda S800 coupes on a very wet classic car show day. Same two cars with the sun out now. A Datsun 240Z, which I spotted at Race Retro several years ago, used in historic rallying. And the first of two photos showing a Toyota Land Cruiser. There's the same Toyota with a cargo type body on the back. And down to the NEC, and this is the Toyota Celica GT SMD 60S. Another 240Z, this time competing on historic rally, chasing a Porsche 911. VBD 549S, that's a Toyota Celica 2-litre GT liftback, shades of Mustang. And this unusual car is a Toyota S800, produced between 1965 and 69, and only just over 3,100 were built. And here we have a Mazda RX-3, another rotary powered Mazda. Another Datsun 100A Cherry. An old Toyota drop-side truck, found in a barn over in Portugal a few years ago. VOD 686J, that's a Datsun Cedric Wagon 6. Very unusual Japanese classic, and here's a rear view of the same car. The only one of these I've ever seen as well. A race prepared 240Z. TTF 242S, that's a Datsun F2 120A Coupe. Another Toyota Corona, circa 1967-68, third generation T40. A side view of a Toyota Corolla TE27 rally car, demonstrating down at Race Retro. Continuing with these classic Japanese cars, we've got Way 61M, which is a Toyota Crown Custom 2600 Estate. A couple of Japanese light pickup trucks mouldering away behind the fence. And a side view of a 100A Datsun. An MCY419J, that's a Datsun 510, it's been converted into historic rallying. PCF 182M, that's a Datsun 140J Violet. Classic example of the type of car you'd see everywhere back in the 1970s and 80s. And here we've got a 1971 to 74 Toyota Crown 4-door saloon. And side view of a 240Z, very muddy. This was seen a long time ago, UBA 130S, that's a Mitsubishi Colt Celeste, a fastback coupe. Haven't seen that for years. And here's a Datsun Fairlady from 1965. A rear view of the same car. This was in Portugal, a Toyota Corolla, very standard, very original looking car. A rear view. Into race retro again, and the Toyota Celica TA40 rally car, looking very purposeful, and a very original 240Z. So many of these have been modified that it's unusual to see one on the old tin wheel trim still. The Datsun 120Y, like the old Violets, a car you used to see everywhere at one time. This car from 1976. And this impressive looking car is a Datsun 2000 Deluxe 6. Very handsome looking car. And this was at the Goodwood Revival a long time ago. Honda T360 pickup prototype. And there's a 240Z in the rain. And a Subaru, this time a Subaru 360, which was an air-cooled, rear-engined two-stroke car. And there's a 240Z at the Pageant of Power some years ago now. Another Datsun Fairlady, this is a restored example in silver at Alton Park. I think this was at Car Fest a few years back. 1965 car. Another Subaru 360, this was at the Revival, in use as a taxi. Rear view of the same car. And this was at the NEC, the restoration show. This is a Datsun 120A F2, a coupe. Looks like a barn find. Another Celica on what I think are Supra alley wheels. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong, I'm sure. There's a 240 GT down at Bicester. Probably the rarest car here. This is a Honda 2000 GT. Built between 1967 and 70, and only 351 examples were ever built, with values over the 7 figures mark now. It's a Toyota Crown Super Saloon. A neighbour of ours bought one of these new, a green example. There's a much modified 240Z, or a Fairlady Z as it's badged up. This was at the Haynes Motor Museum, Honda N600. Two photos now of MRX 919X, which is a Toyota Celica ST Griffith Sun Chaser. A rare convertible version of the Celica. There's a Datsun 240Z at Alton Park. PUL 812R, that's another Datsun 120Y, this time a 4-door car from 1976. And there's a Toyota-based camper from the mid-1970s that we spotted over on Anglesey. Two photos now of a Toyota Crown from 1968. And SFF 70T, this is a Mitsubishi Colt Lancer Estate. Very original looking car indeed. And badged up as a Super Samurai is a Datsun 260Z. Is this a genuine car? Now, I thought I'd also include a few photos of cars that could be classics in the future, or are they already? Please let me know in the comments. We begin with a Nissan Figaro, built in 1991, around 20,000 were built. based on the first generation Micra, but is that ever going to be a classic car? This, I think, probably will be a Toyota Will from 2000-2001. Very distinctive, very interesting little car. Same comments for this Nissan S-Cargo, built between 1989 and 91, very distinctive. A trio of Toyota Serra coupes. Again, very interesting cars, must be a classic surely. And the Mazda MX5 Mk1, this is our own car, which is a California edition, one of 300 made in that particular colour scheme. And we've got Matt Neal's old Nissan Primera, BTCC car. And an Aston Martin Signet. Why is that here? Because it's based on the Toyota IQ. Surely a classic of the future. This was Sir Stirling Moss's own car. And a head-on view of a Honda Accord, another BTCC car. Will these ever become classics? Nissan Cherry, at one time these were everywhere, but they're very few and far between now. This is 1984-ish example. And finally, a Toyota MR2. This was in a scrapyard many years ago. Doesn't look very rusty. I'm sure it will be rescued now if that appeared in there. So, thanks for watching this particular collection of classic Japanese car photographs. If you've got any comments, please let me know in the comments below. Corrections welcomed as always. Please have a look around the rest of the channel if you're interested in classic cars and old cars in general. So, thanks for watching. Bye for now.